Hey, there he is. His audio's connecting, and there's a picture.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good. How are you?
Good.
I got the military police with me just in case we need them for the.
For the doc.
Yeah. You'll deny all knowledge, I'm sure. No, I'll take that off. It's how do I do it now? I'll find it. Yeah. So I didn't know.
Hello, brothers and sisters of the Briar, and welcome back to a special edition of the Pith Helmet Matinee. Professor Jeremiah here, and
Three Rivers, welcome.
Welcome back. Well, this this episode did not start out as a Pith Helmet Matinee. It was a welfare check on an old pipe smoking friend, and the deeper we got into it, it just turned into a Pith Helmet Matinee, didn't it?
It did. It's great fellowship, and just being with this gentleman, albeit virtual. I mean, it took us back to so many happy times, and going back to some of the original Zoom meetings that Professor did. It was, I mean, the very first one. It's just an exercise, an experiment. And he was on there on his lonesome. Next thing, Uncle Phil Sellers joins him, and I've been out with the dog. I come back and I see this thing, Professor's meeting room. What the dickens is this? So I'm on there, and we get joined by, I think, Old Khakis came in. We had Dan's dad, Piper, Josh, Cliff Higgins came and joined, didn't he? And we had all these wonderful people coming. There was a lot more. But we started reminiscing, didn't we? As we have done before and many other times, I think.
we might have to try that again just to see who all pops in unexpectedly. So you never know when we might have a professor's meeting room just pop up. But
well, Ron, our Confederate friend, had, what's his handle?
Hardcrackers, Ron Hardcrackers.
Yeah, he was always a wonder. I loved it if he'd had come on that night. That was fantastic. But there you go. I think he did in the original, but when we just had this informal Zoom that sort of developed a little bit, didn't it?
And so even during this interview with Doc Hatfield, we ended up having another surprise guest that popped in towards the end, and even at the very end, another surprise guest. And I believe, though, today we're just going to focus on Doc, and we're going to come back hopefully next week with the second part of a visit with our two surprise guests that popped in there at the end.
And one of the crucial things with Doc, during the Zoom meeting, our gathering, he did not fall asleep. So that was good. Unless he was closing one already, I don't know. He didn't look as though he'd fallen asleep, did he? No,
not that we know of, I was going to say.
He might have just rested his eyes for about 5 minutes, but no.
But, we never had gotten him on a Pith Helmet Matinee, and it definitely was an opportunity to have him in one. So
But just reminiscing with Doc, some of the things on those early Zooms are innocuous conversations that turned into when he got that phone call. I hope you're able to splice that in somewhere, Professor. Yeah, well, we had a lot of moments like that. It was just good fun, good fellowship, always laughing. Yeah.
So, what do you have in your bowl today?
Well, I've just put out some Coniston cut plug because I've been mixing my Three Rivers River Nith. There's 3 blends to do, and this is actually 1 part Coniston cut plug, 2 parts Glengarry, and 2 parts Latakia mix. And I just finished that, and I was saying to you what a beautiful smoke it is on its own, the Coniston cut plug. It's 75% dark leaf, and of the remaining 25%, 12.5% is burley, and 12.5% is Virginia. There's no additives in it at all on top of that. And if you compare it to Condor, it's as good as. It has its own aroma, its own taste. And I think we were talking earlier that I can only refer it to drinking pure tea with a little bit of sweetness in there, but strong tea with a bit of sweetness in it. Absolutely wonderful. But while, funnily enough, we got talking for a couple of minutes and I managed to smoke that bowl through. So I'm now smoking my Three Rivers blend in this Peterson's 999 Donegal Rocky. It's not the biggest of bowls, but when you got a slow smoking tobacco, it just seems to complement it. But having said that, I've got in reserve in my Northern Brides calabash some Bosun cut plug. So if you see me change pipes, that's what's in that one. On standby.
Well, I'm going to edit back in some of our pre-show video where we were just talking about what we were going to do today. And I show in there that I'm smoking Persian Slipper and, of course, in my Northern Briar. And that's gotten to where that's pretty much all I smoke in this particular pipe these days. And I talk a little bit about how long that pound of Persian Slipper has been stretched out. And since you're showing what your next bowl is, I've got this pipe here loaded up and ready to go. And this one, I have the tin here, or can that I sealed up. I've got some Cary Grant.
All right.
It's a English kind of aromatic blend. And this pipe, for those who might not have seen it before, this is Bodoc or Osage Orange, and it's a pipe I made, which I have a video of me making this pipe. And if you look at that video, you'll see this pipe at that time was a lot lighter in color when I first made it. And it is all natural darkened over the time of smoking it. And it smokes great. I don't smoke it that often, maybe just once or twice a month. And really for no particular reason, I just forget about it. But I only smoke English blends in it because it adds a little bit of a kind of a sweetness to it, whatever's in the wood. And it's great. But Bodoc, it's a hard wood to work with. It's a very, very tough wood, almost like an ironwood. And I don't know if that's a common wood other places. That's what they called it in Africa, was an ironwood. You couldn't drive a nail through it. You'd have to drill a pilot hole, and then you'd have to dip your nail in some motor oil, or I always kept a can of burnt motor oil around, and then you could drive your nail in there. So, and once it was in, that nail wasn't coming out. But
did it bear any fruit, that tree?
The Bodoc does. It has like a large, almost a grapefruit size fruit on it. You can't eat it, or they say you can't eat it. It's real tough fruit. but some people call it a hedge apple. So the tree has several different names: Osage orange, bodock, or hedge apple. And the thing is a lot of people would plant the tree along their fence line and just nail their fence to it once it got to be of size. Other people use the fence post, again, partly because it's fire resistant, just because of its natural hardness.
Although you're going to say you get this hedge apple and a brick and you boil it in a pan for about an hour, and after the hour you throw the hedge apple away and eat the brick. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Have I had tablets?
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
And I think we're going to come back in with an unaired Commander McBragg.
Oh. Was this originally banned on TV? This one?
It might be.
Yeah.
It might be.
There you go.
It might get us banned.
Yeah. I thought we were flame-proof, but there you go.
I mean, here we go. Episode 51, and it might be the last. You never know.
Well, Commander McBragg and Doc. Well, there we go.
Between the two, we won't know which one exactly got us banned.
I know. It wouldn't be either of us, that's for sure.
All right, we'll see you on the other side.
Okie dokie, Skip.
There, Fort Apache. Have I ever told you about the time?
I'm sure you have, Commander. If you'll excuse me.
It was a lonely outpost. The only enjoyment I had was my phonograph and records. Day after day, savage Indians attacked. My soldiers were dropping like flies. I tried to telegraph for replacements. But the Indians cut the lines. We fought bravely on, forcing them back as they charged time and time again. But finally, our ammunition was gone. The situation seemed hopeless.
Terrible. There was nothing you could do.
Ah, but there was, as the Indians bore down for their final attack. I whipped out my phonograph and put on a recording of a mighty cavalry charge. Immediately, the Indians, sure that the cavalry were just over the hill, raced off and never challenged us again.
You did it with your phonograph. Why, Commander, I believe that's some sort of record.
Quite.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one with the Indians. Well, the native Indians, I don't think people even like you saying that now, do they? What's the correct term?
But the Indians call themselves Indians.
Oh, there you go.
I had some local husband and wife, Native Americans, Indians at my house for supper a while back. This was, during the 2020 days, and it's when everybody was taking we have a butter here called Land of Lakes, and it's had an Indian woman on the butter and had a lake behind her. Well, now they got rid of the Indian, but they kept the lake, trying to figure that one out. They kept the land, and they were changing the baseball team, the Redskins, and changing its name. And, they had the Cleveland Indians.
I've heard all that. Yeah, it's terrible.
And the husband asked me, he's like, "What have we done?" That was his remark. It's, what have we done? Like they've done something wrong to be being removed from that. So that's my little political advert there.
Yeah.
But it was a real conversation. He felt like they must have done something to offend people that they're being removed from everything. And whenever I go to the reservation, I see more Cleveland Indian ball caps or Redskin football jerseys and stuff than I've ever seen anywhere else. But it's just interesting, they weren't offended by that, but people became offended for them.
Yeah, I can understand that, the reaction, because it's like we've done something wrong, we've been eliminated, we don't exist anymore. But in pipe smoking culture, I think all the Indian would tribes be, or derivatives, that there is a pipe smoking culture. And they used to, I think, tell me if I'm wrong, they would smoke sage, like herb, maybe the tobacco plants as well. But it was a holy thing.
Rabbit tobacco. It's a gray leaf rabbit tobacco. Right. It's like a gray leaf. It's very potent. And I've only tried, I think, one bowl of it ever, and it ghosted a cob somewhat horrible. And it's strong, but it'd probably be like if it's some of the Oriental leaves are real kind of small and slender, so it looks very similar to an Oriental leaf. And I bet if you were to smoke some of that Oriental leaf just by itself, it'd probably be very potent. And that's very similar to what the rabbit tobacco is like.
Well, this is when certain Indian derivatives, they would smoke their pipe and they would pass it round. And if someone they were smoking, if they had a bad thought, that would travel. That would go up to the creator. I'm not sure, I might be using the wrong term there, but their creator. So when they smoked a pipe, it was to say, everything was true, everything was correct. But I did read, and I've actually seen a short film on this. One of the traditions, one of the legends. I'll send it over to you, see if might be a bit long, but I'll send it over to you anyway. It's intriguing, really is. But it's their legend. It's their belief. So shouldn't call it a legend. It's their belief.
Well, it's interesting. This is maybe a whole nother topic or history to get into another day. But where you literally had, the tobacco leaf being found in the New World, and then how fast it took over throughout the rest of the world as really just a matter of culture in other societies. I've mentioned before here that in Nigeria, in our village, for some odd reason, it is only the old ladies of the village that smoked a pipe, and you didn't see that among the men. And
one of those pipes, could you? You tried it?
Yeah, I tried really hard to get one of the pipes from one of the old ladies because I just wanted it, to put it in a shadow box picture frame or something. But I do have some of the clay pipes that they made, but it's not a smoked one. And then they would have like the clay, and they would take a reed or bamboo stem that they would have in it that they would use for smoking. And beside their house, they would have this little tobacco bush. I never smoked any of that tobacco because I just wasn't quite sure about it. Nowadays, I kind of wished I'd at least sampled a little bit of it, but I don't know. I just didn't really feel comfortable sampling it. Well, talking about old folks smoking, we should get into our interview with our wellness check here. And I specify it didn't start out as a Pith Helmet Matinee because we weren't going through our regular questions that we ask a guest. And I kind of wished we had thought about that, but we talked about a number of things. We talked about old blends. You jarred, and this is at the very beginning of the interview. You really jarred his memory of a story that I'd never heard before of his time in the Great Lakes. and you brought that up with your 10 of 3 nuns. And I can't remember. I know you say it in the video. How old is that 10 of 3 nuns that you had?
That was Empire Blend. That's about 1970. By the way, I rehydrated it and it smoked brilliantly.
Now, were those still coins, or was that a ribbon cut?
Well, coins.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, excuse me. A tobacco of curious cut. But inside, it said you fill your bowl with the coins. That's what's inside it. And it says about teasing the top coin and then smoke it through.
So how do you tease your coins?
I said, I'm going to smoke you. And so just finely rubbed. And it just went through. And it's good advice to people that smoke coin tobacco. Just try it that way. Fill the pipe with coins and then just tease the top one. You know, just aggravate it a bit so it's a bit fine and what's up now.
Oh boy. Well, you know, I've always just rolled my coins up, stuff them in, and as you say, like, you know, whatever I have is like little drop-ins or something, maybe from where I had to break up a coin to finish off filling the bowl. Then that's what I put at the very top, just so I have it broke up to be able to light the actual coin, which is down in the bowl. And a lot of times I smoke like a Peter Stokely Bullseye Flake.
Yeah.
And it's not a flake. I mean, it's a, you know, it's a coin. But I love those. But it's been a while since I've smoked it. But I have some, and it's aging. And I would think now it's probably about a 6-year age. And maybe every few months I'll pull that out and smoke a.
I think that's from 1945. This Players No Name Tobacco broadcut, and I did the same with that. You know, this is going to sound terrible to other aficionados, but I just put some tap water in because this was dry. This was dry, you know, and I actually put it in the windowsill here. I had some really hot sunny days and let it bake and stove in it, and within 48 hours, the moisture had permeated through. It was just right. And I'd fill it. Even Janet came on, that smells nice. Both those tobaccos, the aroma was bang on, the smoke was good. And I actually smoked it in a couple of pipes which I'd renovated. The big, I think they're called Big Ben. Well, I got them from the local antique shop for about $5 each. They were in disgusting condition. But that was about 2 years ago, and I cleaned them all up. They've been sat there ever since. And I thought, well, if I'm going to smoke this tobacco, I'll smoke in something maybe from that genre, so that era. And that's what I did, and terrific. Absolutely terrific. And I went up to the Glossop Pipe Show last Sunday, and I took a raft load of tin. This all came from Ray at Holly's Farm on the corner there. He has a small holding. And he donated these, and because, well, I offered to pay for them, and he said no. He says they were given to me, and I'm not going to use them. So I took them up to the pipe club, and those that opened up, there was Sherpa, a load of different whiskey flakes, Rub Ready flake, rich. Everyone was opening up well, and there was the oh crikey, what was that Tolkien smoked? 3 Nuns, there you go. Non-nicer. 3 Nuns, non-nicer. And that was from 1970. And Ian Walker smoked that in his pipe, the sea urchin. That is a beautiful pipe. If you look up that pipe, the sea urchin, and he says it just came out of the tin just right, and he was smoked right the way through the bowl. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll still say, and I mean, not to, I say this all the time as far as Northern Briar pipes. I just don't think there's really a bigger bang for your buck out there. I mean, my Northern Briars, I was smoking 2 of my Northern Briars last evening, smoking one right now. They are really a go-to pipe for me. And I don't even know how many Northern Briars I now have, maybe 8 or 10, I don't know. But at the end of the day, I'm pleased with every single one of them that I have.
Me too.
Couldn't be happier.
Well, when I was up at Glossop, I was smoking a Professor pipe that he made for me on the dimensions you kind of gave me. And I doubt if you put them side by side, mine's tucked away at the moment. I was just looking for it.
Yeah, and this was a Tomaso Spinu, and I, been very pleased with it. If this, I think, was my first bamboo stemmed bowl, and I was so happy to get it. And the first pipe that I had paid over $150 for, I won't say how much I paid for this one, but I it's the first time I'd taken a really big step in just going out and buying a pipe for a lot of money, but it's been very, very pleased with it. Here's another Northern Briar, but it's got a plateau top and sort of a similar design. Well, let's get on with this interview and then we'll see you on the other side.
This Three Nuns, by the way, it's over 50 years old, and I've rehydrated and it smokes so well.
Yeah.
It will go out now.
I worked on a ship on the Great Lakes.
Okay.
And one day somebody come to me and said, the captain wants to see you. I said, see me? Why? Well, I don't know, but he wants to see you. I said, okay. So I went up to the captain, up to his place, and I said, you want to see me? And he said, yeah. What kind of tobacco are you smoking? I said, you mean in my pipe? He said, yeah. I don't know what I was smoking at the time. I told him. And he said, well, I smoked 3 nuns. I said, well, after you get them smoked, what do you do with them then?
Oh, Doc. I haven't even got. Oh, this is as good as a yellow card, isn't it? That's the first yellow.
We hadn't had to pull out those in a long time.
Nah. Well, we haven't seen Doc for a while, have we?
Yeah.
So I used to go up and sit with him on his deck on that ship, and we'd smoke our pipes together.
Oh, marvelous. Which of the lakes? It wasn't the Hudson, was it? Is it Hudson? No? Am I getting my geography all to?
We left out of Toledo, Ohio, and we ended up in the Straits, going through and going up into Canada. Then we'd turn around and come back. And that's all we did. We did that carrying rock. We'd take rock up there. Then we'd come back and get another load and take it back up there. And that's all that ship did.
Steady work then, Doc.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't pipe tobacco, it'd be smoked by the time you got there.
It was good money back in the late 60s. I was making $17.50 a week.
Late 60s.
Yeah.
People demand that per hour nowadays.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. But that was a lot of money back then. A lot of money.
Well, it was the late 60s when I started smoking a pipe. And I know a week's wages got me a cheap basket pipe, a box of Swan, and a packet of tobacco. And that was me wiped out. And that's why I never gave up trying to smoke a pipe, because it cost me that much. Happy days.
What's the oldest pipe you got, Steve? Pipe that you like would have bought new.
Oh, well, unfortunately, I had a break in pipe smoking, and all my older pipes disappeared somewhere in a box, never to be seen again. I'm probably the 70s. Peterson's. I've got a couple of bent pipes, which you probably would have seen before. One of them is like Tharbo's dad, from South Africa.
Yeah.
His father used to smoke this. It's only a small Peterson's. There will be aficionados out there that will know the numbers, but they've worn off now. But that would probably be the oldest pipe I still have. And I think I found the number on this one. This is like a larger version of 312, is it? Something like that. I can actually see this on some old advertising now. So they're both from the 70s. And then, as I said, I'd probably be smoking 3 Nuns then, along with St. Bruno and Condor. Yeah.
I still have my first one, and Doc would know where I bought this. I bought this at the old mill in Pigeon Forge.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. This would have been in probably 89, I think, or either 88 or 89 that I bought it. But I had it for a year or so before I ever smoked it. I didn't have the guts to to smoke it just yet. No.
Was that because you were shy?
No. I don't know if I was ever shy.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah. Well, yeah, this probably the oldest pipe I own now. It's actually, it's a British-made pipe, but I say it was in the antique place before I found it there. Is it looking a bit sorry for itself? So I bought it and renovated it, cleaned it, and it smokes really well.
Now, Doc, is this your first smoke on this Nording pipe you got?
Yeah.
From Maiden?
What have you got in there, Doc?
Do what?
What have you got in there? In your pipe?
Admiral's Choice.
All right. I've seen it advertised. Is it like an English blend or?
No.
You don't have to say no.
But it's not an aromatic either. It's just
Not English.
It's just a nice blend.
Good. I can't remember if you like Latakia or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, oh crikey! On Sunday we had a meet, and I was recording. Unfortunately, I made a mistake. Ian Walker was saying the difference between a bulldog and a Rhodesian, and there's quite a lot of conflict amongst pipe aficionados. What constitutes one and the other, and unfortunately, I clicked the stop button when he started. It would have been so controversial. So I have got to get that on tape at some stage again, because it was quite emotional about it, to be honest.
Wow.
Well, Doc, I keep thinking of the time we were on Zoom way back in the day when you were correcting my poor behaviors. And I don't know if you succeeded or not, but you got that phone call. And it was like we all stopped. Oh, Doc's got a call. And you were talking away. We were all waiting very patiently. And he said, "All right, darling." And he said goodbye. I said, "Oh, it's the bishop."
Yeah.
That was a classical, that was, yeah. Oh dear. Happy days. They were some good, oh crikey. I think the Optimum was like having about 18 people in the room there at the same time. It was just about had enough yellow cards, didn't we, to keep the riots down. But they're so well supported, weren't they, Professor? You had people from all over, Germany, Scandinavia, Britain, all the Americas, South Africa. Thabo was a regular, wasn't he?
Yeah,
I don't think.
we
Sorry.
need to see what he's up to. I haven't heard or seen from him in a long
No,
time.
I have emailed him, but he's not put up a film for a while that I'm aware of. But I've been, as you know, converting the garage into something else. There you go. Almost finished. Just got to put a roof on it now.
He's got to have room for the dancing girls.
Oh, that was a mistake, wasn't it? Oh, was it? You Ken John Peel, wasn't it? And you got me somehow doing at least half a verse of it. And he said, "Oh, I'll put that up. I'll put some dancing girls with it." I said, "That'll be the day," which is probably another, cue for a song. And the next thing, there it is with dancing girls. Unbelievable. What wizardry. That was, some of the things that you concocted on there, Professor, are incredible. So, Professor, what are you smoking and what are you smoking it in? It's Northern Briars, is it?
Yeah, is it a bulldog or a Rhodesian?
Well, if it's, I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to go there.
I got some of the Persian slipper in it.
Oh yes, yeah. You sent me some of that back in the day.
Okay.
That was the Sherlock Holmes connotation, wasn't it? He used to keep his tobacco in a Persian slipper on the mantelpiece. Yeah.
And for a long time, I looked for a Persian slipper that I could turn into a
really
pouch, but I never could find one. I can't believe nobody out there ever made one. Somebody needed to do that, and I guess maybe it's going to be up to me in the end. But
well, you've got the skills, haven't you?
I could do it. Yeah.
It would have been out of some kind of hide, brushed hide, I would imagine.
So, Doc, have you been to the Gatlin Burlier anytime recently?
Oh no, not since last year.
Okay.
That was a
I haven't been. I
sorry.
have not been anywhere except to the doctor since last October.
Is that what you've told the police, Doc? It was not me. It was the other three.
That's what I told him.
Yeah. That's my alibi for how long. It was the Gatlinburg where you were with Jeff the chef. I'm sure
Yeah.
it was the chef.
And I was there with this man here too.
Yeah.
And the Dread-Eyed Tiger.
Yes. Yeah. Well, that's been a popular film you did, Professor. That's had quite a few hits.
Yeah, when maybe Doc, when you're up to getting back out, we can have another meetup up there.
I'd love to do that.
Were you did you have any brothers and sisters, Doc?
I had one natural brother that I've never known.
All right.
And then I had two adopted brothers of my adopted family, and all of them are dead.
Well, I was raised as an only child, but which was a bit of a challenge for my brother.
You never met the ones in Burma, did you?
Oh, he never went to Burma. That's what he said.
In quotes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little visit. We're going to come back next week for the next part. We're going to have a little bit of Doc still, and then we're going to have our surprise guest, as well as another visitor that pops in at the end as well. But our surprise guest, I think he was one of our earliest, if not, was he the first Pith Helmet Matinee guest?
Not the first. Thabo from South Africa. He was the first, but I think the gentleman you talk about now was probably second. Yeah.
Okay. So we'll come back with him next week, and now all we have to do is sound the cannon and have you sing us off.
Now then, the cannon. Two things. One, we used to say to this guest, "You're our second most popular guest." He was the second one. And the cannon, if you remember the history, I think we're a bit concerned that we're going on, like, whatever, that people may have just fallen asleep. We need something, an explosion or something at the end. And you say, what, like a cannon? Yeah, that would probably do. And that's where that cannon came from, wasn't it? And every episode after there had the wakey up call. Yeah. And if there was any outtakes, which obviously there won't be. Pardon?
If there's any bloopers.
Yeah, which obviously there won't be, I'm sure.
So, well, all right, brothers and sisters, it's great to have you checking in with us. We appreciate you watching. Be sure and let other people know about the Pith Helmet Matinee, and go back and watch some of the old ones so you can see how crazy we are.
Pith Helmet, and yours is on the desk there. So yeah, we didn't don them today, but they are there. They're just back in the daylight. They were blinking a bit, weren't they? Yeah, look forward to part 2, Professor.
Yeah. All right, brothers and sisters, glad you were able to join us. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.
Wahoo! That's what I'm talking about.
Where do we go from here, Professor?
I would think there should just be a button to turn the camera back on.
Yeah, sure. Let's kick off.
Right. You just gone all fuzzy on me, unless it's my eyesight. I have got new glasses on.
No, that was the T, I think.
Going near the Twilight Zone.
You're gonna make me spray tea all over.
Oh no! Well, the thing is, I don't need any help when I've got a straw, and even then,
you just blow bubbles in your beer.
No, we're not only been walking the dog.
He figured the dog was in the pub with you.
Well, that's my excuse.
Apparently, he's not allowed in the pub without the dog. That's what I've heard.
Correct. He sent me home. He sent me home. So go and get the dog, or she'll not serve you. This is the hub of learning. Oh, Phil, you're looking in good form there.
I'm feeling in good form, thank you.
Good. I didn't get me Friday dosage today.
I did 2 VRs this week, and I thought people have seen enough of my ugly mush this week, and then here I am again.
I know. Well, it makes up for it. So, Professor, this cider that you drink, is it alcoholic?
No, it's not.
No.
Sorry to disappoint you.
Oh no, I just wondered. I didn't know if you take alcohol at all, or is it you don't touch the stuff?
You're just wondering whether he imbibed or not.
Yeah. Are you an imbiber?
Purely medicinal.
Yeah, I know. Doc, you don't drink, do you, Doc?
No.
No. It was alcohol that killed my mother. My dad came home drunk one night and shot her.
I was waiting for that.
There's another prayer.
You're live, you know. He's got 8,000 people watching this, and you've just said that.
I have no idea. Have you been behaving yourselves?
For the most part.
That was I was going to say that's a conversation stopper, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They're trying to get us to confess things on YouTube we don't want to.
You'll notice I'm keeping quiet over here.
No, happy days.
Yeah, Johnny's the quietest of all.
Yeah.
A wise man knows when to keep his mouth shut and say nothing at all, man.
I thought I'd just check my emails, and there's this thing comes up on the side, Professor's Meeting Room. I thought, what the dickens? And there you all are. So I get to have another pipe before I go to bed.
There you
There
go.
you go.
What time is it over there right now?
Just 21 minutes past 10.
Ah.
So I've been doing a bit of reading. I'm on the Professor's pipe, Professor. I hope you can see that.
Oh, splendid. Splendid. Well, I changed pipes because the other one's got a small bowl, so I just finished it. This is my
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Harrington Park pipe, and I got Father Dempsey in it.
No, I think
That's a good
Father
tobacco.
Dempsey. I think
Father
Doc's on the phone.
Well, you'll be here before long.
Good English blend.
It's a good blend.
I'm
I
glad you
like
did.
Father Dempsey.
Doc's inviting company over.
Yeah, can we just keep it quiet? Doc's got a call.
Yeah.
And it didn't stick here either.
Put it on speaker.
I'm on a live.
Doc.
I'm on a live feed on Zoom.
This is so surreal.
Put it on
So
speaker,
a lot
Doc.
of people's watching you and me talk.
Not a lot of people, some very important people, Doc.
Okay, babe.
Oh,
All righty.
it must be the bishop.
Oh boy.
Good. Even you are in trouble now.
Let me change this to an age restriction of 35.
See blue lights again.
Johnny's going to have a stroke now.
Oh, don't.
It could happen any minute.
I thought I was having one the other night, and the worst part about it, I was watching Everton.